They're friendly either way.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're super friendly.
Okay.
If you want to feed them
I
there.
just got bit by a little pug.
Oh, don't get bit.
Oh no.
Yeah, these guys are good. They're just old, you know.
Aw.
They're good boys. They'll company.
No, you're fine. You can leave them out.
Well, this one likes to give kisses.
Okay.
They're friendly either way.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're super friendly. If you want to feed them
I
there.
just got bit by a little pug.
Oh, don't get bit.
Oh no.
Yeah, these guys are good. These guys are good. They're just old, you know.
Aw.
They're good boys. They'll company.
No, you're fine. You can leave them out.
Well, this one likes to give kisses.
I want to open this video in my video editing software and show a few things. We can zoom in here and see some details. And one of the first things I want to show you is, this green circle represents a bug. So we're going frame by frame and we can see there's a shape in here. It looks a little different than the other shapes. The other shapes are like a luminous dot, and this has some kind of form to it. We go to the next frame here. You can definitely see like a wing coming out of it in the shape here. So that's a bug flying through the scene. So I highlighted those of what I think might be bugs in green. Now, let's look at this dot here. We're going to zoom in here and start going frame by frame because there's some interesting activity that happens. So as I go frame by frame, the dot appears. Now you'll notice the luminosity will change in and out. But the most interesting thing is you see multiple dots, and they seem to be doing some kind of interaction around each other. So there it is, kind of fully popped in. Looks like a bright light. Starts to go a little dimmer, and you noticed there's a dot here, and it's going to move here, and there's some more movement that kind of takes place here. So we have this circle stabilized. That way it can stay in the same spot, and all the other activity is moving around the stabilized dot. So people may say like it's something to do with the lens, but I don't think you're going to capture the individual dots here moving in different ways, if it's a refraction of light or something different like that. Here's another one just flying by. Again, it's a luminous dot. It's something I saw with my own eyes. It was up in the sky in a pretty far distance. Can't really estimate how far away it was, although I would say, miles away. So again, I don't know if these things are, merging. Are they coming together? Are they just hovering close or moving close? And they're moving so quickly. I mean, that's the thing. We got to go frame by frame. You can see all these individual movements of these other little dots flying around the main dot here. And, is this a portal that something's coming in and out? Is it a spaceship that other spaceships are coming in and out? No, I'm not saying it's alien. I don't see no aliens in this dot. I'm just saying it's not something that we know technology that's out there. Why they would do it over a pretty populated area to do some kind of test, I don't know. I don't think China's going to launch a whole bunch of drones right over the middle of the United States. I don't think it's foreign tech per se. And just the way it moves. So that's pretty much it for that. We can zoom back out here a little bit, go to a different section. I'm just going to back up and I'm just going to show you, there's a lot of activity going on. These dots are moving around, all around the stabilized one. So we have a stable point of reference here. So we're going to go a little farther ahead here. And I didn't circle every dot. As I keep going through this, I see more and more things that appear. But I'm about to stabilize it right here in this other position. Let's go ahead and zoom into this. let's kind of take it frame by frame and see what kind of activity we got. And again, you can see it's appears to be more than one object close together, at least in this fairly blurry blow up. But you can see something's there. You know, it appears to be luminous, especially in like this frame. It looks like two things together. You see that quite a bit. The shapes are merging and they're expanding and something's going on. Now, when it grows, I will say, so I zoomed in from my cell phone in two areas. And so when it gets bigger, like right now we're zoomed in, right? So you can see a little more JPEG artifacting on the video. But I zoom back out, and there it goes a little more into focus and a little smaller, what the regular resolution was being able to capture here. But you still see the object looks, you know, not quite circular. There's something going on there. I'm pretty sure this is the object that when I first looked up I saw what looked to be a cluster or a clump of these objects together. And so the first thought was, well, maybe it's you know, a bunch of balloons or something like that, you know, metallic balloons that are reflecting light. But just when you see all the other ones flying around it, you know, your brain's trying to process what you're seeing, and it just doesn't make sense. So again, we're just going frame by frame, and there's a lot happening here. We're zoomed back in, trying to get some detail. Zoom back out. So I'm just going to hold this in reverse. We're going to kind of back up a little. There it is, zoomed in again. And here's the start of that. Let's zoom back out. Now here's what I wanted to really show. These dots, you know, you can see them here with the blue background, a nice bright sky. But when I put an auto level filter on this, now all of a sudden you can really see there's a lot more things that pop up. They look a little more luminous now. They're a little easier to track, maybe a little easier to see. So I'll just go ahead and kind of play this video out. Not a whole lot here in the center. There is something that's interesting here. You know, I back this up. Now, when I take the filter off, I didn't see anything here. We go to the next frame. Now I can kind of see, you know, a little bit of a dot here. So I captured that, and it starts to move. But when I turn this on, I can see that, oh, clearly it was coming in the scene here. Goes into the circle. Now I start to track it. But the interesting thing to me is that it leaves this trail. So as it's moving, whatever it is, the camera is still picking up or leaving this kind of trail on this dot. And you can still see the trail going across. Now, is that a sensor issue with the camera? I don't know. Is it something that left some kind of distortion that the camera was able to pick up in the air as it moved? I don't know again. I would think, though, if it was moving and it was some kind of distortion, it would leave a trail, not the dots of where this was. So to me, it's probably some kind of sensor issue. But what's interesting is this looks pretty bright here, but in the normal light, it was a very dull one. It didn't stand out a whole lot. So we can see it moving. It's just a kind of a dull light. So this is an unknown. It's not quite as luminous, or not quite a pinpoint light like the other. Could it be a bug? Maybe this one's a bug. I don't know. Just a little different. So we're going to move up. And again, here's another blurry one, but the way it moves to me indicates it could be a bug flying through the scene. See, it doesn't quite have that luminosity. It's a little blurrier. So if we look at this one, I mean, maybe you can't really tell, but some of the other ones, they come in a lot clearer. So again, let's put this auto level. Let's review this one again. I'm going to hold this down so it's going a little faster. And you can see as it gets more pixelated, that just means we're zoomed in. And we zoom back out. We're going to zoom back in. But you just see that there's something else going on around it. Exactly what? I'm not quite sure. Interesting though. So let's zoom out. And you can see I didn't circle every single dot. They appear all over in these frames. They move around. When we take it back to this first series, you know, what's interesting to me is this one that appears to start moving up, and then this one that's fairly stationary disappears, but then we see an offshoot come up, and it looks like it's heading in the same direction this one is. So as that goes up and right out of frame, this one at a much faster rate is going up almost to meet it somewhere. Out of view, whatever. You know, but does that come from this area? And again, over here in this area, there's a little bit of activity. You know, we can see some multiple dots here. So here's where I first kind of detect it. You see one. I see a dot outside the ring. Now there's two dots close. Still two dots, and they seem to be rotating together, where this one's moving around it. Now, I don't know if that one swung way over here. It's gone, it's back, it's gone. Back to two dots. Then they disappear. You can faintly see something though. Again, I didn't catch every dot that blinks in and out on the scene here. There's obviously on this frame an extra dot there, but it's not there for very long. Is it something moving in? Is it moving across? I don't know. But I just thought it was very interesting to look at these in different filters. And again, you know, we have one. Now this isn't necessarily stationary. This is just one of the brightest ones that's in all the scenes, so I can stabilize upon this particular dot. So this is our reference dot. I do believe when I was capturing it, it was the one that was moving slowly this way, which would be going north to south across as we're facing a westerly direction. And so this one's going up. So just very interesting footage. Let me know what you guys think.